Oh, the horror. This is a difficult one to do. The Diamond Jubilee celebrations. Thousands of Canadians are to receive medals. It's all lovely. And various organizations are being asked to participate. At one event, I'm so sorry, but no gay group was invited. Good God! How could they? But real women got an invite. Gwen Landolt is one of the founders. She's now National Vice President. I can't believe this is happening. Your organization, which is made up of just ordinary, average women, has been marginalized for years. Now you're being invited to this celebration and there's not one radical gay group there. What happened?
I don't know, but I think we're very reasonable to be asked because we're grassroots. Yeah. We have many members in small towns and they want to know people who aren't really recognized, you know, to get a medal. And what better idea was to have a grassroots women's group asked to help give ideas for...
Well, exactly. I mean, this should be people who've done small, often unrecognized work for years to help the community, not some overpaid lawyer who campaigns for same-sex marriage or something. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about the organization, because you've been very badly treated in media this past few days. Yeah. The REAL is an acronym. What does it stand for?
It's realistic, equal, active, and for life. Right. And because we're for life, against abortion, and for traditional family, the media has found us to be extremely distasteful. They, you know, the consensus, so-called consensus media thinks that we should disappear. And all the radical feminists thought, how dare we be a woman's voice in Canadian policies. So it's been a difficult road. But we started in 1983, and we knew that we were the spear carriers going into the jungle of feminism. And so it's been quite a journey, but very stimulating, I can tell you.
I can imagine. It's extraordinary, really, because you didn't say that feminist groups shouldn't be listened to. All you said was, we'd like to be listened to as well. Yeah. And you're a lawyer, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a lawyer.
And you, as a woman lawyer, even though you're only in your mid-20s, I know that. You qualified as a...
Oh, absolutely.
But a lawyer as a woman at a time when that wasn't particularly common. You're certainly, in many ways, you're a feminist.
Yes. When I went to law school, there were 3 women and 110 men. And I just put one foot in front of the other and went into law school. Nobody stopped me, and the feminists didn't help me. I just did it because it was what I wanted to do. Right. But they are very offended that a woman who was educated and a lawyer would have more traditional values. And the media, of course, the secular media, thought that everything the feminists uttered were self-evident truths. And anything we said was absolutely regressive. But actually, we just stand the test of time. The feminists, because they lost all their funding, they had millions and millions and millions of dollars. And which is the only thing that sustained them. They were never grassroots. There are a handful of professional feminists who interchanged different groups, executive director here and there, and they got these millions of dollars, whereas real women simply functioned on our membership and donations because we had support from ordinary Canadian women.
Yeah, people need to know this, because I know a little about your organization. Tend to be mothers, people who do not hate men, who care about women's equality, but they're not obsessed with lesbianism, abortion, man hatred. People like Judy Rebick and others, I mean, I'm not really sure where they come from, and they've not really been elected to anything. They're just always there, and there seems to be a lot of government money around and union money financing their lives. They don't speak for the average Canadian woman, a million miles from it.
No, and that's one reason why Real Women started. In 1983 or 1981-82, the Charter was being debated, and these professional feminists would get on the national TV and say very, very pompously, the women of Canada demand, and are we the women? And I said to myself, who do they think they are? Nobody gave them permission to speak for all of us, and nobody can speak for all women. Real women can't speak for all women because we're as unique and different as men. But they pompously assumed that they were the sole spokespersons, and they were deeply, deeply upset when Real came real women came along and said, now wait a minute, ladies, you do not, or ladies using the word loosely.
Yeah.
I said, you don't represent anyone but an ideology, which is feminism.
Yeah.
But you don't represent women. Nobody does. And if anybody got up and said, I represent the men of Canada, they would have been laughed out of the country.
Of course they would.
But they got away with it.
Yeah. And it was a radical form of feminism. Equality, dealing with issues of violence at home, men being real fathers. I mean, all these are extremely important issues. They're not talking about that. They despise the very idea of family. And they accuse more conservative people of being obsessed with, you're obsessed with homosexuality and abortion. They're the ones obsessed with those issues. It's all they seem to talk about.
Yeah, we have lots of issues that are not dealing with homosexuality. We want the traditional family to be promoted and supported.
Yeah.
For the very reason we know that works best for society, and children thrive in a home with a mother and father. Lots of sociological studies have proven that. We don't like the no-fault divorce. We know how damaging it has been, and one partner can walk away from the marriage. And we always say marriage is like a ruler. The first part may be difficult, the middle part might be good, but if you stick around, the end of the ruler is perfectly happy. In other words, marriage comes and goes for everybody, and it's good and it's bad. But you find if you stick it out. But when you have no-fault divorce, you know, the grass is greener on the other side, and the family is destroyed. And the ones who are destroyed most in divorce are children. Oh, yeah. They are terribly, terribly, terribly affected. And we know that's the most awful thing to happen, is a mother and father to be divorced. And they say even studies indicate even in troubled marriage, like there's lots of conflict, children are better off with both parents.
Well, so, I mean, there are marriages that just, there is so much division and pain that they can't continue. But then people should really think about that before they have children, because it's meant to be a child-centered institution. But we know, and it's put religion aside or anything else, there are just mainstream people who say a lot of marriages that break up with a bit of work and compromise on both parties, and realism, they can stay together and they will be happy again, and the children certainly will benefit. I'm so glad you're going to this this great party, and with any luck there'll be gay groups outside screaming and protesting and saying, "Where's our money? We want our money." Yeah. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.